What's up, guys? It's Cash, and I want to thank each and every one of you for purchasing On the Rise. This trick is great. I'm very excited to be teaching you all today. If you are a fan of not only card tricks, but the classic ambitious card routine, this one is going to take that to the next level, and you're going to have a lot of different things you can do to add to existing routines, or even just taking this routine from the box. There's going to be a lot of fun moving parts, literally and figuratively, going on here. So without going too deep into this, let's go ahead and check out what you receive inside of your package. All right, so you got the King of Spades that's signed, right? This was from another performance, but look, it goes into the pack. I'll leave it on the ground. Watch, it comes back up to the top when I snap. Just... All right, so you're just gonna go ahead and dump out everything out of the box. You'll notice you get a bunch of King of Spades here. This is gonna be so you can repeat the trick many times and have it signed each time. So here's all your gimmicks. The king is just gonna be used for the effect, obviously, but these are the different parts of what's gonna make the effect work. So you have this joker, which has some magnets in it. This will be your base, which attaches to either of your half kings here. So this is the base. And then we have this flap card king, which you want to be careful opening before understanding how to use it, but you shouldn't have any problems just opening it and looking. This has two magnets as well, so this will connect to the base. And this is what will allow you to have that visual moment at the end when you place their signed king inside. Because these are two different pieces and they're separate, you can place the card in between, like so. And this allows you to time it. I'll go into the details later, but these three pieces allow this moment, where the card appears at the top, and you'll be able to steal it off and everything because of the magnets. And then you have this other half piece, which is used for the box. It functions in a similar way, but there's no elastic. It is a manual flap that's held together with tape. So you're never really seeing this in play with the base because this will be in the box, and it holds it to the back of the box, which gets stolen off. But as you can see here, with the king, that you can show it, and it just kind of opens up manually. And then this last part, this is going to be for the first couple phases. Actually, it goes through the whole routine, but its biggest showing of being used is in the first part, the first two phases of Ambitious Card. But this card is roughed about 3/4 of the way. You'll be able to kind of feel the difference. One side is not treated, and this side has a part that's untreated right here, and then the rest has roughing on it so that you can place a card on it and it sticks together. So like, as you see, but it's a double card. Again, I'll go into all the details later of how all of these go together, but I just wanted to give you a quick run through of how the gimmicks look and work. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the explanation of how to put this all into a routine and start blowing people's minds. So let's go ahead and check out the explanation for the main handling of On the Rise.
Please welcome the magic of Cash. Hi, Cash.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a classic in card magic, one that most, if not all, magicians know. So, I'm doing this to challenge myself because if I want to fool two of the most knowledgeable magicians, I have to put the Cash spin on it. First, we're gonna need a card randomly selected from the pack.
Okay.
Okay? How we're gonna do that is I'm gonna go through the deck like this, eliminating cards like this, and you're just gonna stop me somewhere along the way.
Okay.
So, let's go.
Stop.
Here, you want this card.
Yes.
I want you to go ahead and look at the card you picked and show the audience as I look away so I don't see anything. Yep. And remember it.
Okay.
Perfect. I'm gonna have you place that in my hand face down. Now you just remember your card. I'll place the card into the pack. I'm not gonna push it in all the way yet because right now we can assume we know where the card is, right? Mm-hmm. But if we just wait, I want you to imagine your card rising through the pack one card at a time until it hits the top of the deck.
Okay. Ready?
I have faith in you. You've done that?
Yes.
Let's see how we did.
Amazing.
This King of Spades?
Yes. Hey.
Good job, good job.
Thank you. We're connected.
Yes, we are. That's the first phase.
Okay.
So, I know there may still be some skeptics out there, so just to make this a little more, you know what I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Dramatic.
Yes.
Mind-blowing.
I'm gonna have you sign the card right here so we can confirm it's the same card from start to finish.
Got it. Okay, here we go. Signing my name. There you go.
Beautiful, beautiful signature.
Great, Cash.
Thank you. This is now a unique one-of-one card. There's no other card like it in the world.
Okay.
So we're gonna take your card and do just as before. I'll place it sticking out. And this time I don't even want to do the actions. I want you to go ahead and push the card in.
Okay. Like this?
Yes.
Okay.
And then square all the cards up.
All right.
Perfect. Okay. And just as before, do the same thing, imagining the card rising up one at a time until it hits the top.
Ready?
Yep. You done that?
Yes.
I'll have you check it out.
Me?
Yes.
No?
Yes, now. I'm getting nervous. Did it work?
Wow.
And it worked.
We did it. Gosh. Amazing. It's amazing. What?
Thank you. You're doing great. You're doing great. So, there may still be some skeptics out here about how this is working. So, we're gonna up the stakes. I'm gonna be completely transparent. We're gonna put the card in the opposite direction this time.
Okay.
So you can see.
Yep.
All right? I'll even show you the face of it so that you can see here as well.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have you push it in so we see it go in with the signature on it. Go
Just
ahead.
like that. You ready?
Boom.
Okay.
And I'll show you from the back one last time.
Yep.
And no, it is pretty intense. We're gonna do one last thing to keep this a little interesting. This is the most intense part. Putting the cards into the box. I'm kidding. The cards are inside of the box now.
Okay.
There's no way sleight of hand can happen here. It's all inside the box. I'm gonna have you hold your hand out. Okay, perfect. And just like before, you're gonna imagine your card moving, but it won't go to the top. Let's imagine it going to the bottom.
You think I can do that?
I think you can. You're doing good. I want you to imagine the card getting heavier and heavier,
Okay.
and it starts sinking through the box.
Okay.
I want you to imagine the card now going to the outside of the box in your hand.
Okay.
Have you done that?
Yes.
If everything has worked, that card should be right here. Seems as if it didn't work. But it did. I just left out one little thing. Your card is actually right here underneath the cellophane. It just stopped under that.
Wait, what? Oh my gosh. Wow, Cash. It's amazing.
Thank you, thank you. It was all Brooke. Look.
I'm just following directions up here.
I'll have you go ahead and take the card out. Really make sure it's under the cellophane and I'm not just
Yeah,
faking
really
that.
was under the cellophane. This is my card.
Now, honestly, I could stop here. But there may still be some skeptics. Let's do it one last time. So, I'm gonna have you sign the back of the card as well.
Okay.
Just go ahead and do it like
Okay.
perfect. We're gonna do like we did just before. Your card,
Yep, that's my card.
yes, goes face up into the pack, and I'll show you one last time, just right before before it closes up. I'm gonna need you to imagine really hard this time, all the details, because it's gonna rise to the top, but you're gonna see the moment it happens. So I want you to just start picturing your card right there.
Rising to the top.
Yes, just like that. Sign card.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's some cash magic. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's go over the main handling of the routine. This is a 3-phase ambitious card routine that starts off with your normal kind of building aspect of ambitious card, and then you end with the visual of the card appearing face up. The only piece you won't need for this handling is the box flap. This is a bonus piece that I used for my Fool Us performance. We'll get into this a little later. This can also be a standalone thing, but like I said, we'll get into that later. So right now you should have 4 things in front of you. The base with the flap, and then your double backer. The king is the card we'll use for the routine. This double backer, before we do anything with it, I just want to show you how it's treated. This card has been treated so that when you place another card against it, it adheres because part of this card is roughed. I put Sharpie on another card just to show you about what that's gonna look like since you can't see it, but all of this part is gonna be treated up into about halfway of the angel, and the rest is untreated. And then the back of the double backer is also untreated. Now, what I recommend for this part, you don't have to necessarily do it right now, but it'll help during the performance phase, is to mark the double backer so you know which side is untreated. This Sharpie right here is Racy Red fine tip Sharpie. I picked it up at just a random craft store. You can look it up on Amazon as well. This color I realized works really well for bicycle color red. If you can't find this one for whatever the reason, orange Sharpie works just as well. Orange Sharpie is actually what I was using before I found this exact color Sharpie. How I mark the double backer is the little flowers here at the bottom. I just go ahead and fill in the middle of the flowers on the untreated side, on both sides. This is how I've done it. If you want any extra assistance in knowing which side is treated and which side is not, which you can kind of get a feel for it by just feeling the card. But if you just want that extra security, you can put on the untreated side, color one circle, and then on the other side, color both. So you have a 1 and 2. Either way, I think just marking somewhere along the top on both sides will keep you in alignment when you're performing the routine. If you can't get a Sharpie to match the card, I would say don't try to just start using different things to color in the card because you don't want it to look bad. You want to keep this looking as normal as possible. You could always just do a pencil dot on the corner as well with a pencil, both sides as well, and that should be able to help you keep track as well. However you want to go about that, I've always liked just putting the red ink in the middle. So, with all that being said, go ahead and get out a deck of cards, a red deck, and let's set up how to start this routine. So first things first, you have this flap card. What you're gonna wanna do is open up the flap. You'll notice when you're looking at the card, we're gonna have it go from left to right. That's how we'll know where it's gonna go once this king is here. We'll want that to go towards them. So that's what they'll see. You're not gonna put that there just yet, that's just to show you, but you're gonna open the flap and then you wanna set it on the bottom of the deck. Now, you're gonna end up in this position later, but to keep things very clean throughout the routine, you're gonna wanna rotate the card away from you so that it's opening right to left. You're gonna open it up and then set the deck on top. The reason why I'm having it go from right to left is so when you spread the cards, you don't have to worry about the card popping open prematurely if you spread it. Because if I put it the other way and spread, you'll notice it's fine, but if I spread too far, this will happen. And you obviously don't want that to happen before the moment. So as long as you have it facing the opposite direction, you can do a normal spread like this, or any way you can spread normal like so. Spreading in the hands, you most likely won't have a problem either way. It's just if you want to spread it on the table, you want to make sure that the half that doesn't flap is on the outside, if that makes sense. So, one last time, you have this flap going from right to left on the bottom of the deck. Then you're going to want to set your roughed card, the double backer, with the roughing down and the side that you marked, the untreated portion, towards you. So right now you can push over this untreated double backer without it sticking to the card, and then you have the flap on the bottom. And then after you have that done, so you have the bottom and the top set up, you'll set your king of spades right on top, and you can be good to go from here. Just so I can be set up a little further, I like to cut everything into the middle, and this is me prepared completely for the trick. And I can put this into the deck or into the box and be ready to go. So, now that you have it set up, let's go ahead and walk through the actual routine. First, you're going to take out the cards, and you can spread through these pretty freely. Just know there's going to be a chunk in the middle that is a little thicker, so you don't want to just stop there and let them see that. You just start off with the deck. I got a deck of cards here. You can spread through it very freely and show a normal deck. You tell them you're going to have them select a card. So when you go to have them select a card, you're going to want to get a break underneath of your flap card. This is the force card right here. It's very easy to get a break under that because you can. Now I keep hitting the king of spades on accident. So just to show you another way you can do this, if for some reason you can't hit that card as easily, you can spread right to the thick card very easily as you're showing them the cards, and then get a break right underneath of it. So I'll show you from the bottom. I'm spreading through. I know this is the thick card, and then I get a pinky break right in between those. I'm really just doing this so that I can do a riffle force right to the king of spades for that. I'll go over some other forces and stuff that I've used as well for this routine, but this one's straightforward. You don't have to think too much about it and just get into it. So quickly, I would take the cards out. We have a deck of cards here. I'll show you they're all different, right? I'm going to have you say stop as I go down the side of the pack like so, okay? So say stop, boom, right here. Do you want to go more? No? Perfect. I know this is the king. and then you would hand them this card. So I'll show you, depending on if I'm at a table or not. If they stop me at the king of spades, I'll set this packet down, hand them this card, which is the king, and then put all the other cards on top. So you're completing the cut. Once you do that, you'll notice the flap is back on the bottom and your double backer is right on top again. So this is just the way to set up the force so that you end up in the position you need to be. So one last time, they stop here, look at the card, take it, boom, it's forced and everything's good to go. Sarah, Laura, I'm gonna go through the cards like this. I'm gonna have you say stop somewhere along the way, okay? You want to go more? You want right here? Right here. All right. Take the card, look at it, show everyone the card. So, you're in this position, they have a king of spades, you don't know what the card is, and you're going to proceed to show them the first card trick you ever learned, or the next card trick that every magician seems to do, but I'm going to do it better. However, whatever hook you want to do, I use both of those. This was genuinely one of the first types of tricks I've learned. So however you want to go about that. But let's say it's the first card trick you learn. You go into your first ambitious card phase, which is how most people will start it off, which is by using a tilt move. Shout out Ed Marlowe for that. So you take their card, and you're going to go right into tilt, push the card into the middle like so, and you'll set the deck down. Before I start showing you the things that we can do from that moment, I just want to give another little tip for the tilt move that I like to use. While they're looking at the card, I like to get a pinky break and pull out one card so that it's sticking out like so. This is just an added convincer for this first phase, which is going to be really good because you're going to repeat this phase twice. So you don't necessarily have to pull this card out, but if you want it to be a full kind of coherent routine, this is a very nice moment. They're all looking at this. You get your tilt. You say, okay, we're going to start off by placing your card about halfway down into the deck like so. Now, from this side, I'm going to show you what's happening. They won't notice this because you're in the middle of talking, but you say the card's going to go into the middle. You're keeping this part hidden away from them. Goes into the middle, stop for a second, and say, I'm going to let you push it in. As you do that, you're going to come in with your thumb, push this in, and then set the deck down like so, and then spread. Now there's a few things happening all at once, but I'm going to show you what it looks like up to speed. So they get their card selected. Okay, you have your card. We're going to place it into the middle of the pack. Now I don't even want to push it in all the way just yet. I want you to see that it's really sticking outside of the deck, halfway down. Now the switch already happened at that point. The king is second from top. This is just a burner card, and you push that card in like so, and then you square it all up. Now this is a very clean start to an ambitious card routine, especially for someone who's never seen the ambitious card routine. So I'm going to do it one last time just so you can see it all together. We have your card. It's going to go into the middle of the pack. I won't even push it in all the way yet. You still see it sticking out here. Boom, it goes into the middle, and we square it up. Now, everything that I just showed you from the beginning, setting it up to this moment, allows you to be able to spread the cards without worrying about the flap card shooting out, and also keeping this double backer oriented how you need it. If you followed along, your untreated side will be on the left to you. You'll be able to look at the marking. It'll always be to the left for this setup. So once you're here, because we know this side is treated, we're able to pick up pretty much anywhere on this half of the card and flip it over as a double very cleanly to show a king. Now it gets better because you can cleanly go, oh, it's back on top, right? It's still adhered to the card very lightly. So because of this untreated side, you can pick up here, flip it over, and then pick it up from this side very cleanly, and everything is able to be seen as it should, where the double backer is still on top with the treated side up. So one last time, you're in this position, you square it up, you wait a few seconds, and that card is going to appear on top. Let me show you. And just like that, one card comes back to the top. All right, so everyone got the card, right? All right, so this trick was a card rising to the top. So the card goes into the middle of the pack like so. I won't even push it in all the way just yet. That card gets pushed in, and the deck gets squared up. Now, we've seen everything that happened here, right? The card goes into the middle. But if you wait a few seconds, your card should come back up to the top. This feels like every ambitious card routine first phase, but you're so far ahead at this point that the second phase is going to be even cleaner. And even for a first phase, this is so clean because you're picking up a double without it feeling like you're picking up a double. Even if you have the best double in the world, this is just setting you up for a really great repeat of the trick. So now the position is the top is roughed. You can just kind of show that it came to the top and say, I know you might be a little skeptical. You know, there's only one king of spades in this pack though. So, but just so you can be sure, I'm gonna have you sign this card. So this is where you have them sign it. I have another signed card from a performance this past weekend that I'm just gonna use. This is where you're gonna want them to sign when you have them sign it. And I'll usually start off by saying, okay, here, I'll draw an X right on the edge here. I'll draw an X and have them sign across the line. You don't want them to just sign across the face because when you make the card appear later, you don't want to have a discrepancy of the signature on the card. And you'll see what I mean a little bit later if you don't already see where I'm going with this. But this is great. The reason we use the face card is so that it's better for them to sign in this portion anyway. And by just putting the X and having a line, it kind of just fills in the blanks of what they need to do. So I'll go boom, go ahead and sign your name right across there so everyone can still see your signature. And now we have a signed king of spades. Now, don't use any of the kings that you have right now yet to sign it because I'm gonna go over a little bit more of the gimmick that you should be aware of before you start performing. But for now, you have the king of spades and it gets signed. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick up the deck. The untreated side is still towards the top. And you're gonna show that the card is signed and place it on top of the deck. Sometimes I have them sign it while the card's on the deck. That's up to you of how you wanna do it. I'd try to just use audience management to know which way I wanna do it. I'm just gonna be throwing in little like tips that come to my mind. That's such a small thing to try to say, but you wanna you're gonna place the king here and you're gonna end up in this position anyway. So some people might think that it's weird to sign it, set it here, and then remove it. Or some people won't think it matters. I don't think either way matters. Again, it just depends on what's happening. So long story short, you have them sign the card and then you place it on top of the deck and you're gonna spread it with the double backer attached to it. the reason why I said this moment is so deceptive is because they just watched this first phase happen where you take a card cleanly, put it in the middle, and it rises to the top. Now they're thinking about this card being signed, and you can cleanly show this as a single card one last time before you repeat the effect. And all in motion, no one's going to even realize that this is now a double again. So boom, we have a signed card here. We'll place it into the middle just like before. And that right there is the move. The signed card is here, and the rough double backer is in the middle. So just so we can see it one last time, all the treated part is this bottom half. So you'll set the card down, pull this over. If you want to show it one last time like this, you can. Just say, look, we got your signed card now. No other card like this one. And when you flip it over, you're going to push the card over from the top where it's untreated. So it won't get stuck or adhered to it when you push up here. So very, very clean double at this point. Everything seems very fair. And then you get to this point. I like to go from the front this time instead of from the back because if anyone may have thought something was weird before, like you had another card sticking out and you were tilting it or something, you know, they most likely won't know all of that. But let's say they did. Now you can repeat the second phase with the signed card, go from the front so they really see it in the middle, and then spread the cards again, just like the first time, and then say, I'll have you push the cards in. Go ahead and push the card in all the way, and go ahead and square the cards up. So I have them do everything this second time because they'll be able to also cleanly take the card off of the top once you get to that point. So basically, it's a way to repeat a trick, but also add an extra layer of deceptiveness by having them sign the card, everything. Again, this is just your standard ambitious card routine, but with an extra little hidden helper to make it as clean as possible. So they do all that, and then you say, just like before, we wait a few seconds, and the card should be on top again. And I kind of gesture to have them flip over the top card and see themselves. And once they do, they'll see their signed card resting on the top of the deck. This card is signed. Now there's no other card like this one, just hers. So if we do it again, it'll be fair. Your card, right? I'll even have you push it in. We see it's in the middle, right? Yep, push it in. And then square it up. I don't even want to go near the deck again, all right? I just want you to imagine your card rising to the top. Now, this is where we get to the third phase, and this is the visual phase of the whole routine. From this point, you'll notice that the flap on the bottom is going left to right. This will be fine. This is how you want it to be. You're going to shuffle the deck in a kind of a certain way. We know that the double backer is about halfway down into the deck right now. You want to try to keep it in the middle, roughly, for the third phase. So how we're going to do that is we're going to shuffle the deck to leave the double backer in the middle and bring the flap to the top. So basically, you just want to run off a few cards a little bit at a time, just like this, all the way through the deck. Just a handful. It doesn't have to be one by one. It doesn't have to be super integral, but I try to do a few at a time and shuffle until I feel myself get to this last flap card, and it goes on top. And it's going to go underneath your thumb so that it doesn't flap anywhere. So now we move the flap to the top, and the double backer is somewhere in the middle still. And I'm going to find it just so I can go through it again, just so you can see the shuffle real time. Boom, there it is. So again, the double backer goes in with the untreated side here. They see it, goes in, boom, card comes to the top. And I'll say, okay, we're gonna do this one last time, but I really wanna make this as fair as possible. So we'll shuffle these up a little bit, just like so. And again, your card's signed, so everything is gonna be fair. Everything just happened in that moment. Shuffled, flap is on top. Now, you don't want to just glaringly like keep this towards them the whole time, because we have a nice little score here and the elastic. People aren't going to notice it if you just have it in motion like this. But just be aware that you don't want them to just be staring at this top card. So the cards are going in, or the cards are shuffled. We say, okay, let's do this one last time. We have your signed card. As you're mentioning the signed card, you're going to want to get a break underneath of the flap itself. So how you're going to want to do that is lifting it up from the magnet, because remember, this card is magnetized to stay here. So you want to go in between the magnet layer. You want to be careful with this moment. You want to try to keep yourself in the middle of the flap because of the scoring here. Now, I went out all weekend and was filming all weekend and doing this a lot back to back. So I started kind of like lifting from the side edges. And if you do that enough times, it'll wear down the scoring on this. So try to be mindful of keeping it in the middle when you lift up, like so. So you lift up in the middle, and again, you don't want to just be standing there straight towards them. When I lift up in the middle, I like to kind of tilt the deck back towards me as I take the king. And I say, okay, I'm going to actually place your card face up this time so we can see the signature. Here is where I come forward and load it in pretty quickly. I'll just show it. Here, your card's going to go into the middle face up this time, and I hold it there for just a second, and then I flip it over. You want to go the front edge of the deck towards you. This is just a nice little subtlety that has been added into the routine. You don't necessarily have to do this before the visual, but it just adds an extra layer that I highly recommend. And I'll show you right now. The card goes into the middle. I'll show you one last time in the middle that it's here. And everything has been set up for you to be able to cleanly spread it because this is the double backer. And the untreated side is in the bottom half. So when you flip it edge from edge like this, you can push forward and reveal a double backer. So when you do that up to speed, like so, you show the signed card, and something I should have mentioned, make sure the signature is on your left side because the flap is going from left to right. You don't want to end up in a position where the card goes in and then there's no signature. The signature should be like this. Okay? So, up to speed where I'm loading the signed card in. So we have your signed King of Spades. It's going to go into the middle. And I'll show you one last time just so you see it's really in the middle. And then you square everything back up and flip it over edge to edge one last time. Now, this is the moment that most people have probably been waiting for to see. This is the visual moment of the routine where their card rises to the top of the deck, completely hands off. The pattern I like to use at this point is saying, We're going to repeat this trick one last time, but if what I was doing was really true, you should be able to see the moment it happens, right? So that's kind of the reasoning for doing it face up, because you'll see it rise to the top, so on and so forth. To get the visual to work in the way that you see on the trailer or whenever you've seen me perform it, there's no sticky stuff, no nothing. It's just a natural bowing of the deck like this. If you bow the deck like this and kind of give it a squeeze, just as if you were to do the inflated deck principle, you're just going to squeeze this here, and it will naturally hold its form for a handful of seconds before it flaps by itself. Nothing sticky on this part to hold it down or anything. It's all just naturally timed. You'll want to play with this for a little while to get a gist of how long it'll take based off of pressure. Sometimes you can do it so much that you're standing there for a minute long waiting for it to happen. That is not a position you want to be in. I've been there many times. Normally I'll just pick it up and restart. People have a very short attention span nowadays, so you don't want it to be super quick either. If it's too quick, then it kind of kills the moment and happens too fast. People might still freak out, but if you just set the deck down and then it's just already there, without being able to say a few things beforehand, it kind of makes it's too quick at that point. So you want to practice playing with the pressure of it to get at least 5-10 seconds of wait time. Okay, so definitely play with that. I noticed I can just do it for a few seconds, so I'll kind of show you how I go about it. I'll just go here. All right, I'm going to set the cards on the ground this time. I don't even want to touch it. I want you to imagine your card right on top of the deck. Boom. And then it's on top. Now, this is if I were setting it on the ground. You can also do this moment in your hand. Again, the routine is very versatile, so when I'm telling you what you're going to be doing at any given moment, you'll realize that there's creative freedom to handle it however you'd like. So there's the floor version, which I enjoy to do, but there's also how you can do it in your hands, which makes it a little more controlled. You can kind of feel when it might happen, or you can kind of trigger it by playing it, jiggling in your hand, like so. Either way, whichever one you feel comfortable with. A lot of people might like the hand version. It'll help you clean up a little easier too. So, I think that's about everything I need to say about the flap right now, whether you do it on the ground or the floor. Just practice with the timing of it. The signed card, right? The card, like before, goes into the pack, and I'll show you. The card goes into the middle, right? Watch. The card stays in the middle. And you're gonna see it happen. It's gonna be crazy, but I won't even touch the cards. I want you to imagine your card on the top of the deck. Imagine it on top of the deck, just appearing. Boom, and just like... You should be able to see the moment it comes to the top. All right, so watch everything. It's gonna go face up this time. Into the pack. Yes, make sure you get this on the camera, watch. Imagine your card on top, just like that. If I was doing what I was really doing, what I was saying I was doing, you would see it happen. It was face down the whole time, right? We'll do it face up, all right? So it goes into the pack. I'm gonna come over here, all right? And set it on the ground. Your card's gonna go to the top, watch. Just imagine it on top of the deck. Was that it? I'm going to leave this on the table. I'm not even going to touch it. I want you to imagine your card on top of the pack. Just imagine it right there and watch. Boom, just like that. Your signed card comes right back up to, and you can check it out. It goes right back to the top. You can check out the whole pack.
How is that possible?
I want you to imagine your card appearing on top of the deck. Just imagine it right there on top.
Why did it get there?
Now, we're in the position where this is what they're looking at. They're looking at their signed card resting on top of the deck that they just saw in the middle. Now, when we look at it, really, it's the whole base with the magnetic flap on it. It's just this little piece that allows the card to appear. If you notice in any of my routines, I hand them the card straight from the deck. I'll just go, here you go. You can, hold it or whatever. Now, obviously the flap is still not in here. I palmed it off. So I'm going to show you exactly how to clean up from this moment. And there's a few different ways you can do it. Let's say it's on the floor. And actually, one last thing to mention. This should be facing your audience. You can do this surrounded and probably get away with it. But when I do perform this, I like to keep my audience at least in a kind of like maybe a 45, 90 degree angle in front of me. Like they should be in front of you because there's only so many angles until you start catching this crease in the card. Now, when you do this for yourself, I highly recommend you practicing with the flap and setting it on the ground towards you so that you can see yourself what angles look the best and how you should be showing the card to the audience. Just know that you don't want the flap going away from them. You always want the flap going towards them. If it's on the floor, you want it to be close enough that they're looking down at the cards. And if it's in your hand, you want to make sure that the face is just about towards them. Look at it in a mirror and really, get the angles down. It's not too difficult. You'll figure it out by playing with it a few times. But, yeah, that's a very important thing to think of, though. So the card appears. Let's say it's on the ground. When I go to clean up in this position on the ground, I reach down to the deck. As I get down to the deck, my thumb is going to contact the side, basically the signed side of the card, and go behind the deck. And my hand basically pulls this back along my thumb as I pick up the card and transfer. It's a little bit of a knacky move, but it's not too difficult once you put in some work with it, especially up to speed. So it's just here, your middle finger and ring finger contact the edge of the card and slide it back as you're picking up the card and rotating. And then I transfer to this hand, so it's all in motion. So up to speed. Boom, they see it. They're freaking out right now. I go straight down, pick it up, and show. And basically from that point, especially if you're coming up from the ground to hand it to the spectators in front of you, you can come forward, show it, drop your hand. There won't be a table there, obviously, but you come here, drop your hand, and you can go right to your pocket, your back pocket to ditch it, as you hand them the card, and then you're clean. That's the floor handling. That's probably the best way to clean it up from the ground and leave the deck, okay? Now, if you, for some reason, feel your hands are too small to hide this flap or you're having difficulties with this cleanup, you can always from the ground. They see it appear, pick it up, and just palm it off here as you hand it to them. Or you can do the cleanup in the hand version that I'm about to show you now. So let's say you make the card appear in your hand. Boom. There's two cleanups here. There's one where you kind of do you're using your pinky to pull the card up. There was a change that used to look like this, which inspired this cleanup, where you would go here and you get this kind of change. Cardini change, I think it was. But yeah, you're basically doing that with the flap like this. But you're gonna go, you show it appear, and you do this move as you push all the cards over, and that goes underneath of the deck. So now you can hand this to them with a clean hand. So like, just like that. I'll show it from this side. Just like that. Now, so let's say it was on the ground. It's on the ground, you pick it up, you show it, and then you do that move. You can also do one-handed changes, one-handed top palms if you feel natural doing that. I don't ever really do that, but I know that's another option for it. So I give you that freedom to play with that handling. And then there's also just the handling of you doing kind of a wrist kill from this point. So it appears on top of the deck, and you can just come here and pull the card out from underneath of this and drop it like so. This one does not leave you clean on top of the deck, but you don't really have to do anything once it appears. They just see it, and you take it and throw it down and show that the card is no longer in the middle. So yeah, those are just a few different ways to clean it up. My go-to method usually is the floor and the cleanup like this. I've done this one plenty of times, and this is the cleanup I used on Fulas as well. So that is the basic main handling, three-phase ambitious card routine. You get the visual, and I think that's about everything I have to tell you for this routine. Also, remember, this is still on top, but it blends in, so you don't have to really be too worried about removing that from the deck. That is the main handling of On the Rise. Let's go ahead and check out a couple other bonus handlings for this routine. This time, instead of it going to the top, we're gonna try to get it to go to the bottom. So hold your hand out, all right? Now, I want you to imagine the card sinking down in the deck, going down to the bottom of the box, okay? Okay, perfect. Now I want you to imagine it passing through the box into your hand. Have you done that?
I almost felt it happen.
Did you? Look. Oh, wait.
Oh, where'd it go?
I'm kidding. It's actually right here. I forgot about this. I forgot about the cellophane. Here, check. Okay, so here is the bonus routine for On the Rise, aka my Fulas performance routine. The only major differences between the first routine and what you're about to see is the inclusion of the card appearing under the cellophane. Now, this is a great phase by itself. You can also do this away from your ambitious card routine, but as a full routine, it goes really well together because there's some extra things that you can do that you can't do in the original routine. So, to get set up for this handling, you're going to open up your flap card on the base, and then you're going to place this inside of the box, and then set your box flap right on the back of that. Of course, you're going to need a red back box to make this work with a sticker. So you definitely have to get your hands on one of those. You can buy the Elite Packs of Bicycle from Penguin. They have a nice red back design. Or if you still have rider back boxes sitting around with the sticker, that's the one I highly recommend you use. Either or, you're going to need to have it match the back of the box. So let's say you have your box ready right now. This is how you're going to be set up. What's really nice about this box flap is there is no elastic. This wasn't even a part of the routine when I went to pitch the idea or anything for us to release this. I came up with this version of it just jamming with a couple of my friends right before my Fool Us performance. So what's cool about this flap is it's a manual kind of flap. You can get it to open and close with just a little bit of, this type of thing, So if you put a king inside of the cellophane, like so, with everything attached, you can get this really nice visual of a card appearing in the box or underneath the cellophane. I'm not going to show you the breakdown of it just yet because this is a really exciting moment for the routine. But for now, this is your setup. Again, you have your flap card with the base inside with the box gimmick on the outside. Now, everything else is going to be similar to the very first part of the routine. You're going to grab your double backer, wherever that is. Mine is still on top. Perfect. And again, you'll have the rough side down with the untreated side towards you. And then your force card on top. What's really good about doing the bonus routine with this is you can start off with your deck like so before the routine and take the cards out and do your first two phases without worrying about this flap card being inside of the deck. So you can take the cards out, set the box down, show everything very cleanly, and do your go-to routine. You don't have to cut it into the middle or anything. You can just start off your routine with the riffle force, have a card selected. Let's say it's this one. Set everything down. You have your force king here. And you'll just do your first two phases of ambitious card like before. So you show the card, you get your card sticking out or not. You put the card in between, show that it's sticking out of the middle still, square it up, and get the card to rise to the top. Then you say we're going to do the trick again, so you can watch everything. Again, only one king. I'm going to have you go ahead and sign your name right across this line. They sign their name. And then you do just like before, where you load the double backer on top of, underneath of the king, place it into the middle, and square it up, leaving the sign card on top of the deck. Now this is where we get into the bonus box handling. And don't get me wrong, this is definitely knacky. I practiced it and was sweating doing this on Fool Us right up until I went to perform it. And I'm going to say my performance was the one time I didn't feel like I fumbled it. Like, it's a knacky thing, but it's really fun and powerful when you get it down. So, you're in this position, and you say, all right, let's try to change up the routine just a little bit. We're going to take your signed card. We're going to place it in the opposite direction in the deck. So this is the first time you're going to be putting the card in the opposite direction. What you're going to want to do is you're going to riffle down the deck, and you're going to riffle until you see that double backer again. So you have it like this, signed to the left. You riffle until you see the double backer, and you place the card right in front of it. So the double backer is here, and the king is here. So you go here, you spread the cards, and you can really show that it's in the middle because you really place it in the middle. And because that double backer is roughed, it will not show itself. But I usually keep my fingers covering this bottom corner just in case. You say, I'll even show you the other side one last time. And this is where you're going to show that the card is signed and it's really in the middle. From the back, though, you're going to want to push it so that that out-jogged card goes underneath of the spread. So this is the position that you're seeing. From the front, though, they're only going to see the face-up card because this is a double backer. Now, you're going to have them push it in. You say, I want you to push it in so you see it really go in the middle. They'll push it in flush, like so. Your fingers will be contacting this, but once they push it in, you come straight down, and they'll see this face-down card one last time. But it's obviously not the king. So they push it in. You come down, and you're going to call this card out like so. As they see this. And you square it all up, controlling their signed king to the bottom. But to them, they think it's still in the middle. It's a very, very clean moment of them pushing everything in and seeing everything. I'll go ahead and do that up to speed so you can see one last time. We're going to take your card. You want to riffle it towards them like this. You're going to place your card right into the middle like so. You see it's in the middle. I'll show you all sides. You see your card still in the middle here. Go ahead and push that in. Boom. And as you can see, it's still sitting here right in the middle. Everything is very fair. But we're not just going to stop there. We're going to place it inside of the box even. At this point, you're going to load the card that's on the bottom into the cellophane. I'm going to do this very slowly so you can see everything. But you're going to want to pick this up. This is going to be away, like towards you, so they can't really see. And you're going to get a pinky break underneath of this top card, like so, just so you have a single card. This all happens in the action of you coming here and going towards the box. Now what's going to happen is you're going to go in towards an angle, and you're really loading this card here, but because you have this box flap, you can aim for in between the box and the card to help direct the card. So, like so, and you'll place the card right behind your box gimmick, and you're going to want to still stay at an angle to a point where you can't really push the cards in because it's hitting this flap. Once you're here, you'll be able to take your index finger and push this into the cellophane if you hit it right. Now, I kind of missed something. Okay, as you can see, I'm hitting the cellophane here. You don't want that. You want to go to a point where it feeds itself. If you go at enough of an angle, it'll just go right in. So, let me try this again. So you get your pinky break of the single card. Sometimes I'll even just prep it like that before I pick up the box, just to really make sure my pinky goes in there. And again, you'll go at an angle. You don't want to press too much or this can disengage. And you also don't want to pull away too much or it'll disengage because it can get in the way. You just want to pull back a little bit, go at an angle, and this will feed itself into the cellophane as you go into the box and push it all flush. Now, that's definitely a move to practice doing before you actually go out and attempt it. Another nice little tip is if the cellophane isn't too high up. The cellophane is like about where the king's face is. That'll help it stay behind this card and go underneath of the cellophane. I hope that makes sense, because to go straight down, like, yes, that goes in, but if you go at an angle, it kind of just like helps feed it in a lot easier than just going straight down. So, boom, just like so. Once you get that, you'll be able to push the card in and put the flap back in the box. You'll normally see a crease from where the flap card is. You want to go in front of that, like so. So basically, when you remove everything, you won't be having a card show like this. You want it to only see the sticker. So this is here. And once I close the box, then I'll show everything very cleanly. I'll say your card's inside of the box. There's no way it can move inside of the box. Everything is closed up in here. Now, you can show the back pretty decent amount. We also have tape on it so that if someone peeps it and there's a light, they'll see some shine as well. So you're here, it's in the box, and now you can do a handful of different ways to make this card appear. You can do it manually, where you kind of just like say, look, and the card comes to the top. Or you can do it with the left hand, like so. Or you can do it in their hands, where you can, I'll say it like this. So you can get the flap to open itself like this as it goes into your hand. If you notice, it kind of pivots by itself, right? So use that to your disposal as you come down to get it to open itself, all right? I'll kind of show it from here. And now it's open. So from here, I could say, here, hold out your hand, okay? And you can pick up so that the flap doesn't open. You can kind of put your thumb there after you do the move. Hold your hand out, and you set this inside of their hand. They will be coming from this direction so that the flap is towards you, because you'll be going across. So let's say that's their hand. So this is in their hand. You say, imagine the card sinking through the deck, going down to the bottom of the box, and then it passes through the box into your hand. They imagine that. And now what they expect, if you say it correctly, they're going to expect that card to just be sitting in their hand, like outside of the box. It's a nice moment because you can build it up to something crazy and then they realize it's not there. So it can be some comic relief or, whatever. But I really just do that to be like, oh, it's not there. And then I go, oh, wait, I forgot. It's on the bottom. It's still underneath the cellophane. I forgot to mention the cellophane part. It's really disarming to see this and then show it under the cellophane, because that's the cleanup for the king under cellophane. And you rub it to show it's underneath, and you're just palming that away. This in itself, as an effect, is really great, which is why I'm saying this can be done without all the other phases. You can get creative with how you get into this. I just like it as a full routine. But even for social media or for visuals, just to have them sign a card and put it into the deck and then be here is really good. Another way that you can get into it that's fun is just by doing this. If you close it right, the gravity kind of lets it flap open itself. So you can just kind of toss it in your hand like that. I actually went and did that for Fool Us because I didn't want to flash this moment, which there was a possibility of me flashing at the angle I was at. So I chose this version because not only does it look like you're just tossing it into your hand, it kind of hides any motion if there is a little flash. You can just kind of do it real quick and see that it's there. All right. There's also some other visuals you can do with it. When you're in this position, you can show it, and you give it a spin like this, like a deck flip, and get it to appear. These are just all things that I've explored with making it visual or not visual. You can show the card like this. And again, since it opens by itself, you can kind of like do one of these and let it close. Again, there's visual ways to do this and non-visual. At the end of the day, it'll be up to you. I just kind of want to show you all the little things that you can potentially do with it. So let's say you're here, it's in their hand, it sinks to the bottom, and you want to show that it's now underneath of the cellophane. People are going to freak out at this point. So you go boom, and the whole cleanup is you rub to show, boom, it's under the cellophane, look. And then I rotate the box while that still stays in my fingers as I instantly start to pull this up just a little bit and then show it to them to take out themselves. So up to speed, let's go. Look right there underneath of the cellophane, right? Yeah. That was a little sloppy cleanup, but you get what I'm saying. If you're bold enough, you can do it one-handed, take it out, and set it on the table. There is the grip on it, the tape, that kind of helps out a little bit with the palming. But yeah, this is a very powerful moment to make something appear supposedly under the cellophane that they can examine themselves. Now, after that point and they're taking it out, I go to the back pocket, ditch that there. They take this out, and from here, that could be your final phase, or you could say, here, you know what? I want to do it one more time. I'm sure you really want to see the moment that it rises to the top. Now, because you removed this box part, one, the box can be examined at this point, and two, you're set up for the flap, all in one. This is why this became the whole routine, because everything plays together really well, and it makes it a 7 to 10 minute routine. So you can get rid of the box, they can examine that. Now you're set up with the flap, and you can do the same thing as before, your final phase, where you say, I'm going to take your card and put it face up in the middle, just like before, and I'll show you the card in the middle up until the last moment. And it's nice, this double backer will always be here in this deck, but can also be shown to not be there. So you can get some really clean moments of that card truly rising to the top, just like this, to show, to see that it rose to the top. I ditched that off the table. So if you have a table, you can also do a ditch behind the table. It's great. But yeah, that's the handling, including the box flap and how that all plays together and how the gimmicks can stack up to allow you to start off your routine very cleanly. This is gonna be even crazier, but we're gonna try to take it a step further. I'll put your card in the opposite direction, right? And I'll show you, you still see the face of the card, right?
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna have you push it down flush into the pack. Boom. And you see it face down right here, right? Now, I'm gonna place the cards in the box. We're gonna try to take this a step further, all right?
All right.
So, place it into the box. Like so. So it goes inside.
Yeah.
Now there's no way this card can make it up to the top, right?
No.
But I'm gonna have you hold out your hands. And I want you to imagine the card sinking down into the pack, down to the bottom of the deck.
Okay.
And then you should be touching it at this point.
I don't know how, but
This should be in your hand. Oh no. I'm kidding, it actually goes right here to
oh my God, wait,
underneath
what?
underneath of the box, underneath of the cellophane. Look, you can even
How
take
is
it
that
out
even-
yourself. Goes under the cellophane.
How is that even possible?
All right, guys, so this is the repair section of the tutorial. I'm including this for the things that may potentially happen. If you handle the gimmick well and take care of it, it should last you a very long time. But let's say something did happen, like the thread breaks. It's unfortunate, it's happened to me, but we can fix it very easily. What you're gonna need to do is get Prim Strick elastic. You can get it on Amazon for really cheap. It's a clear elastic thread, and you'll have your sewing needle. These are the two things you need to get this fixed up. So what you're gonna wanna do once you have your elastic is you're gonna thread the elastic through the needle, and then you're going to essentially double up the prim. So you would just have it sitting in the middle of the thread like so. You're gonna wanna grab a decent amount of length. I do more than I probably need, but you're gonna go from the side with the magnets. You're gonna go in through the top hole. And then you'll thread it through the second hole. And now all you really need to do from this point is you're gonna use scissors, but I'm gonna break the thread. And now you have a length of probably, it should be loose. I'd say about 10 inches of thread, maybe even more. But you just want it to be very loose here. And you're gonna do a basic knot. You're gonna cross it and go under as if you were tying your shoes. You'll pull it close. And now you're gonna tie a knot. How you wanna tie the knot is I usually place my finger down on it and I tie it into a knot just like I did the first time. And I'll pull it just a little bit. The cool thing about Prim is you can kind of like stretch it through the knot without it breaking. So now that should be good. I'm just gonna go ahead and tie one more knot just in case. And then you'll break that off. Again, probably use scissors, but boom. Now, you can test to see the strength of the flap, and yeah, mine is pretty good. Now, there's the possibility of it being too loose or too tight. If it's too tight, it'll break or you won't be able to pull it open. and have it close like this. If it's too loose, it won't close all the way. So if you've never tied Primstrick elastic before, you might have to do this a couple times, but you'll catch on really quick of how to get the right tension for it. Mine is working very well, so let's test it out on the flap. It should function on the base. All we have to do is give it a little bow, and yep, it flaps just how we need it to, closes all the way, and you'll be good for that now. Okay, so let's say that the card starts to wear down and you want to redo the whole card. Again, this is just a little extra information in case you want to go the extra mile to change the back design or even just build another one for yourself with a different face card. You can do this with just a cutting mat and a ruler. I highly recommend getting some kind of device that scores cards in half. This is a Wonder Cutter. If you have a Wonder Cutter, it works great for it. You can also get a bisector jig, Owen O'Hare, or you can just take the route of finding the center of a card with a ruler and cutting it on a mat. I'm going to use the Wonder Cutter because that works best for me. What you're going to want to do to get this card how you need it is you're going to find the center, you're going to place the card in the cutter, and you're going to score not too deeply into the card like so. I usually just go a couple times, and then you have a nice score to cut that card right in the middle like so. And then you're going to do the same thing that you did with the threading, except you need to put holes into the card. So you'll take your either a thumbtack or your sewing needle, and you're going to put a hole right on the two corners on the right side. So boom. So now I have the holes in the corner. You're going to want to go with the side that you went through as you thread this up. So again, this process becomes the same as what I just showed you. You want to double it up. I'm going to start from the back of the card just so I don't have to pull the knot through the hole. So I start from the back of the card, go through the other hole, and then just as before, you tie the knot, you do one loop, and then a second loop. Pull it tight, and then I'll do one more knot. Again, it's just like tying your shoes when you tie that knot. Nothing, no crazy knots here. And then just like before, boom, it opens up. If I use scissors, I would trim these little ends that are still here. Now, the only thing you would have to do is if you're replacing this card because there's a tear in it, you'll just want to take these magnets off of this card. So I'll go ahead and do this just so I can show you all the way through. They're just held down with tape. And they are super glued as well, so they stay to the card. But what you'll want to do is just pop the magnets off of your king. So you'll take the magnets off of your gimmick that's no longer functioning how you want it to, and to get them in the same place as your base, you'll drop the magnets on top of your base card. So now, once you have the magnets on the base, you'll put very tiny drops of glue. You don't want to put too much because if it's too much, it'll spill off to the side and get on your base card. You align the flap to the base like so. You just want to lightly tap it so it can start to adhere. It really doesn't take too long to dry onto the flap card, so. And then boom, you take it off, and you'll put 2 strips of tape on it just so the card doesn't snag on the magnet when you're loading it into the base. But even with that in the way, so now you have your new flap card, just like so. You can steal it off just like before. So that's just a quick run through of how to repair the thread and to repair the whole card and transfer your magnets over. So you have a fresh flap card whenever you need one. So the last few tips and kind of notes that I have about everything that you're receiving here, remember it's up to you if you want it to be a 3-phase routine, a 4-phase routine, if you just want to do a couple phases, you know, even just including the double backer and doing your standard ambitious card routine can just take your ambitious card routine to that next level. You can always do the first 2 phases and then just the box, and you just always have the box set up. You know, you don't ever have to technically take this base out after you do the box phase. You can just do the box phase itself. You can do the visual appearing on top by itself. The only thing is I just recommend like at least building up to it. I could easily just have the flap ready to go, force the king of spades, and without having them sign it, just put it into the middle and have it rise to the top. But the reason I give you these routines is because they all build on top of each other and function together. But you're going to have the creative freedom to figure out how you want to connect them, or if you want to just go exactly with the things that I'm saying, because this is what works for me. And it allows you to be able to do this close-up or parlor or even stage, depending on what you're trying to do. We're going to start off with the first card trick I ever learned. All right? It's a pretty good trick. It's called the ambitious card, okay? So, what was your name, bro?
Nolan.
Nolan?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to riffle through the cards like this.
Okay.
And as I go through, you're going to say stop, all right?
Okay. Stop.
Here? You want to go more?
Nope, right there's fine.
You sure?
I'm positive, yeah.
All right, right here.
Yep.
Go ahead and look at the card that you just stopped at.
Can I show other people?
Of course, show everyone. All right, so everyone got the card, right? All right. So this trick was a card rising to the top. So the card goes into the middle of the pack like so. I won't even push it in all the way just yet. That card gets pushed in. The deck gets squared up. Now, we've seen everything that happened here, right? The card goes into the middle. But if you wait a few seconds, your card should come back up to the top. The king of spades. Was that it?
It was it.
That was it. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what? But I know there's some skeptics here. First off, I'll show you that there are no other king of spades. All right? Now, just in case you still don't believe me, even after that, I have a Sharpie here. I'm going to have you sign your name across this line. I'm going to sell this card for $100 later.
Maybe one day.
A lot. All right, so Nolan's card here. We're going to do that same exact thing. All right, but with the signed card. So now there's no way there's duplicates, right? So we got the king of spades signed, right? We'll take it. goes into the middle. Again, I'll have you push it in, flush. Perfect, and square it all up. I won't even do it this time. It's too fair at this point. But this is nothing yet. This is just based off of the original trick. Wait 3 seconds. And your card should be on top. Your signed card, the King of Spades, right? It is crazy. It is crazy. A little too crazy. But it's not too crazy yet. Watch. We're going to switch it up a little bit. Your card's signed. We're going to put the card into the pack again, but this time we'll put it in the opposite direction. All right? So you can see it's the same card. And I'll even show you this side. So you see one last time, right? The card's here. Have you push it in? Right? And we see it goes into the pack, right? Now, it's in the middle, the opposite direction. I'm going to place it inside of the card box just to make it even crazier, all right? So it goes into the card box. And I'm going to get your card to go back up to the top, all right? But instead of going to the top, we'll go to the bottom. So hold your hand out. All right. I want you to imagine wherever your card is in the pack, I want you to imagine it sinking down into your hand. All right? Your hand is a magnet now. It's going down, it's going down. Have you done that? Yeah. If everything happened as it should have, that card should be sitting right there in your hand. No, it didn't happen. Oh, wait, actually, I forgot. Yep, right here, under the cellophane. I forgot about the part where there's the cellophane. So you can take that out and check it out yourself. It actually goes under the cellophane. Now, before this started, I told you I was going to have you all come over here to see the craziest way that this trick can be done. I'm sure you're all thinking, if that card was really going to the top, I should be able to see it happen, right? If I was that good. So, we're going to take the cards out and we're going to do it one last time. I'm going to have you all come over here. And we're going to use the... Oh, shit, my bad, bro. My bad. All right. It's all good. It's all... Look, you're in a perfect position. The signed card. All right? The card... like before, goes into the pack, and I'll show you. The card goes into the middle, right? Watch. The card stays in the middle. And you're going to see it happen. It's going to be crazy, but I won't even touch the cards. I want you to imagine your card on the top of the deck. Imagine it on top of the deck, just appearing. Boom, and just like... And just like that, bro, check it out. Bro, the card goes to just like that. All right, well, there you have it, guys. That's all I have for you for On the Rise. I really hope that you guys get a lot out of this and get a bunch of performances and great reactions for live performances and social media. I also want to give a quick credit to Alexander Collet. There is an effect that he released a while back that has a vibe similar to this one. So I just want to make sure he is properly credited as well. And a quick shout out to my friend Travis as well for helping me figure out the bonus handling that I taught you guys with the box. We went through a bunch of iterations with that. So yeah, that's about everything I have for you. Please, if you enjoyed the effect, leave a review on Penguin. It helps other people find great magic as well. And I will also be reading them to see if there's anything else I should do with this product in the near future for you all. So please, don't hold back. Give all your honest opinions and thoughts on it. I'll be checking them out. And yeah, I'm Cash, and thank you again for purchasing On the Rise. Go get them.